Welcome back to the Toon Trials podcast for a very special episode. In the courtroom is Kyle and Josh. Josh, how you doing?
Doing great. Why did you call me here? This is a odd time to be called in.
It is,
Trying to get
and
trying to get some candy and trying to pass out some candy, some trick or treaters, but duty calls, so now we're here.
it's true. Doing probably a shorter episode here. Kind of trying something a little bit new, so we're going to try and do our monthly long court cases, if you will. Next one up is A Flock of Seagulls, so there's a little preview for you. But we're going to do some shorter episodes every now and then when we just want to look at something that doesn't have necessarily an entire catalog behind it. And boy, did we find a treat today, Josh.
What did we find, Kyle?
In keeping with a Halloween, being it's Halloween time, while I was looking around the internet, I found out that our buddy Freddy Krueger has the greatest hits.
You don't say.
He does. And it's literally called Freddy's Greatest Hits.
Well, let's take a stab at this one.
Ooh, wow, that's really good. And actually, before we get into it, we're going to say that this, like I said, this isn't going to be a full episode. This one's going to be called, what did I say? It's going to be a plea deal. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, we can go with a plea deal.
Plea
those
deal.
are usually shorter than full court cases. We don't need to argue too much on this.
That's right. So, we'll start off with our main man, our artist here, Freddy Krueger. How much do you know about Freddy Krueger there, Josh?
Well, he was the main character of the Nightmare on Elm Street film franchise, rocking the iconic flannel look. He's got the glove with the scissors, and he makes kids fall asleep and kills them in their dreams, and that's pretty much about it, isn't there? I mean,
Yeah, that's him in a nutshell. How many
he's got
of those?
what is it?
I was
He's
gonna
got
say
like what, 3 films? Elm Street. Just
what? Ooh, boy. There's like 10.
oh,
Yeah, I'll go through a couple of them with
there's
some of
no
their.
way there's no way there's more than 3.
Are you serious, dude?
Oh, okay.
There's
Hold on? Are you counting like remakes?
no, honest to God. I think there's 6 in the
Damn.
main line. Your boy's little spoiler. Your boy's Goo Goo Dolls song doesn't come out till the 6th film.
No, I should have known that.
Yeah, man. Nightmare on Elm Street is just like Halloween, where they just kept pumping them out. Before we get into Freddy's album, I thought we'd take a little bit of a look at Freddy's impact on music, which is a weird thing to say, but it's kind of shocking how popular of a musical option Freddy Krueger has become, which is weird. But what would be the 2 genres you'd associate Freddy Krueger with, Josh? I should say 3
Musical genres or just like genres in general?
musical genres.
I would obviously go with heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's been referenced in some rap songs. None are coming to mind, but it would be
Yep.
hard pressed to not think that. Rap and heavy metal. That's horror music.
The other one I'd throw in there would be synth pop, just because he was a guy of the '80s.
Yeah.
And there's if you listen to those albums for the movies, there's a lot of synth pop on it. So for the first 2 movies, that's really musically that's the only thing of note that comes through is that doom 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 doom. Kind of musical motif. And then, because there's the first Nightmare on Elm Street, there's the second one, Freddy's Revenge. And then musically, we get to A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. And a couple little fun facts about this movie, Josh. A cameo by a young Lawrence Fishburne. Also, in the third one, he kills Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Can I ask you something?
Certainly.
Who gives a fuck what you think?
Do you know who that is?
I don't. This is all.
I'm
disappointing.
You are very disappointing. Of course, that's where I'm asking
Sorry,
you to. That movie came out, I believe, in '87. So I'm asking you to know in '87, and I think even in '87, Zsa Zsa was an old reference from like the '60s. So.
I mean, I was born in 1990.
So that's a 50-year-old reference I'm asking you to get, but that's all right. Anyways,
nostalgia's got a time frame, and yeah,
that's true. But off of that soundtrack, they have Dokken with Dream Warriors. How did you feel about that song?
It's a great song.
Absolutely amazing song. My notes were hell yeah, great song. And did you watch the video?
I did not watch the video. I Spotify'd it. What did I miss in the video? Because the song was fantastic.
It takes a lot of shots from the movie, but literally, the main character's there in a room, and it does the whole Freddy thing where like he'll make the walls move and stuff, and actually one of the walls blows apart, and the guitar player comes through the wall to play guitar at her.
Oh man, that's pure 80s, like, pure metal right there.
That is, you will always win me over if you have a guitar player that for some unknown reason is fighting the elements or fighting something in order to play his guitar solo. It's one of the reasons I like Creed so much.
Hey, they were fighting the wind. This guy's fighting a supernatural element.
This guy's fighting Freddy.
His guitar is like the most badass thing ever, too.
Yeah, with the skulls on it and everything.
Yeah, that's sweet. Bookmarking this.
And at the end, spoilers, Dokken beats Freddy with the power of glam metal. Who knew?
I mean, glam metal can do a lot of things. Defeating Freddy shouldn't be that far-fetched.
That's true. But from there we move on to A Nightmare 4, and that one's called The Dream Master in 1988. That's the thing, is that these things literally came out year after year after year after year. It's kind of nuts, too, because they'd cost like right around $5 million to make, and they'd make anywhere from 40 to 50 million. And that was pretty, like, up until I think the Freddy's Dead, the final one, even that one was profitable. But it's pretty crazy. They just constantly made money. You know what I mean? You make them fairly cheap, and they sell.
It's money. Yeah, why not? So what? If I'm not mistaken here, I'm trying to. Wasn't there like a Fresh Prince song about Nightmare on Elm Street? Am I getting my references confused here? Or?
No, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing. So for Nightmare 4. And it's in the movie, but for some weird reason it's not on the soundtrack. The Fat Boys have a song called Are You Ready for Freddy? Josh, are you aware of who the Fat Boys are?
Well, it's not the guy who did Lean Back. That's Fat Joe. So is this his posse before he got popular?
No, this is in the 80s they were a hip hop group. Basically they did that very the very 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 Will Smith-ish early rapping. But they were at the time they were a more well-known band. I think their breakthrough came through. They had a cover of The Twist.
Easy to do.
that they did with Chubby Checker, but they actually had their own movie, like their own comedy, kind of Three Stooges thing. So they were kind of a known commodity, but that's the one that the Nightmare people picked.
Listen to this, you'll bust the ride.
Fred Krueger, the myth, for Fred Krueger, the man. It doesn't matter because I'm still rapping about him, understand? So sit back, check, I'm gonna bust the rhyme. Grab a hold of your face, it's Krueger time.
And then DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince actually wrote a song for that movie too, which is called A Nightmare on My Street.
I said, yo, that was death. And everything seemed all right when we left. But when I got home and laid down to sleep, that began the nightmare on my street.
And they liked it, and they put it on their first album, which I believe was a double album. But the crazy thing was, so for the single and everything, they had to put a sticker that said, not authorized, licensed, or affiliated with the Nightmare on Elm Street films. And the video for that one is pretty great too, because it's clear that the song was made about Freddy Krueger, but they change up the way that the guy looks in the video, and they change up everything. So I think they even call him Fred in the music video and everything, and in the song. But it's our family brand of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, I mean, now we get to the best one though, the Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh no, you're jumping the gun. Good Lord!
Whoa. How many more can there possibly be?
How many more of these movies are there?
Well, okay, we're on 4. So the Goo Goo Dolls, you said, is number 6.
Yeah, so there's another movie. So also just one notable track too from 4 is there's a song called Nightmare, which was sung by Tuesday Knight, who was actually the star of the movie.
Can't sleep tonight, 'cause I gotta run, gotta hide, and I'm running from this nightmare.
And it sounds like an 80s synth lady song. Think of a slower version of Love is a Battlefield. And then so for A Nightmare 5, The Dream Child, this one's kind of wild. So this one is a little bit of a rabbit hole. So the first song that I got from that movie is called Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter.
Bring your daughter to the slaughter. Let her go.
Any guess on who would have sang that song, Josh?
Sounds like an Ozzy Osbourne, or maybe even like a Cannibal Corpse.
You are close. On the movie soundtrack, it is performed by Bruce Dickinson. Does that name ring a bell?
My name is Bruce Dickinson. Yes, the Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce Dickinson. Iron Maiden.
He was quoted as saying that song took him 3 minutes to write. The crazy thing about that is, it is Iron Maiden's only #1 single in the UK.
Bring your daughter to the slaughter. Let her go.
That is also a crazy fact. I did not know that.
Yep. And the Bruce Dickinson version was a Golden Raspberry for Worst Original Song.
Of course it was.
So they got a Golden Razzie, and they also got the #1 album, or the #1 single of their career. So there you go.
Impressive.
That's a little crazy bit of a deep dive there. And then finally, we arrive at the 6th installment, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And this one has your boy Goo Goo Dolls on it.
You know, as far as a Goo Goo Dolls song goes, it's not Iris, but like, it's up there. I mean, it's a pretty good song.
It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, it belongs anywhere else in their discography. I mean, there's nothing Nothing offensive about it. It's if you told me there's a Goo Goo Dolls song on a Friday or a Nightmare on Elm Street album, I'd say it sounded like this. And then did you watch the video for this one?
No, I did not watch the video.
You gotta quit just Spotifying stuff, Josh. You missed out on a chance to view your beautiful boy Johnny Resnick.
I've seen enough of him.
But he gets chased
hold
by...
on. This is probably back in the 90s when he actually still looked good. So
yeah, this is 91.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole music video motif, of course, like you do with anything, is that Freddy's chasing the band around. The tragedy to it, Josh, is I saw a recent Goo Goo Dolls video, and it looks like Freddy did finally get a hold of him.
I mean, unless he's becoming Freddy, that could also be a thing.
That's like the plot of the second movie, apparently.
Yeah.
This is that the kid's becoming Freddy. But to stand up for your boy Johnny Resnick, I think it's just that Christmas video where he looks like a ghoul, because I've seen recent videos of him and he doesn't look that terrible. He doesn't look like the ungodly monster that he does in that one video. No. He looks better. So I don't know if he had surgery and it had to heal or what.
Or he just realized it was bad and kind of undid it. But yeah, they just released a new album in Bloom, I think, and it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I know we're talking about Freddy Krueger, but I won't miss a chance to plug my boys here. Actually coming to Sioux Falls on Halloween, so I got to figure out some way to get away from the family and go see them.
Oh boy! And then that little escapade brings us to the main event here, to Freddy's Greatest Hits.
Yes.
And this was released along with... So this was from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, and this was released in 1987. So this was released side by side with that. And kind of looking it up on the internet, checking with a couple different people, it seems like the consensus is the best ones are the first one and the third one. So this kind of coincided with everybody's favorite Nightmare, and this is kind of the height of Freddy 2. It's another one where everyone says that this is the best in terms of Freddy Krueger. He's still scary, but he starts to add in his jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
he's got a lot of one-liners.
Really good, and it sounds like as the series goes on, he kind of becomes lamer. And he's not, it's too much into the comedy and not enough into the horror, and so he's hit the sweet spot. So this is Freddy Krueger at the height of his creative, at his creative zenith, I guess. But it was released in '87, and then kind of cool, which would be 30 years later. The company Mondo re-released it for $25. And apparently now it goes on eBay for about $100.
Wow.
And that Mondo release is kind of crazy because they only released 400 copies.
Yeah, I didn't know this existed. So, not that I'm a giant horror movie fan, but it's a unique piece of work. I mean,
How would you describe this album, Josh?
I wasn't expecting it at all. It's man, I wasn't ready for how awesome it was.
Are you telling me you weren't ready for Freddy?
I was not ready for Freddy. I wasn't ready to do the Freddy. It's just the 80s, like, pop kind of... I mean, it's 80s blast for sure. Not mistaken. It's got a mix of originals and some covers. Obviously, to fit Freddy Krueger's persona. But... yeah, you sent it to me, and I was like, oh, I'll check this out. So I kind of played it in the background, and then, like, I actually played it, like, 3 times. 'Cause I'm like, This is groovy. This is a vibe. Some earworms in there. So yeah, it's kind of cool to have.
It would not be the worst thing to put on at a Halloween party, I'll put it that
Oh,
way.
absolutely not. No. I mean, after the Monster Mash and the Ghostbusters theme song, this is going on.
That's true. Where do you go after that?
Yeah, those you have to have those two, and then yeah, where do you go? The answer is Freddy's Greatest Hits.
That can't be the answer. There's got to be more. There's got to be better ones. But let's look at the track list here. The first one, of course, is "Do the Freddy."
Hear the happy feet dancing to the beat of the Freddy. Put a guy in front, make a line in back, then you're ready.
Which
is the Freddy and the Dreamers cover, as well as a parody, because they changed the lyrics a little bit, but
very, very slightly changed the lyrics. Did you look up any performances by Freddy and the Dreamers of the original version?
no, I didn't.
This is the worst dance you've ever seen, Josh. They literally
I've
kick.
seen a lot of bad dances.
They kick their legs to the side, like and like the whole band does it, so it looks terrible. Then he like puts his head up and down, and then he kind of just jitters around, like like there's the twist, the monkey, the mashed potato, all that stuff, and this is kind of the time that was around. All those make sense. Do the Freddy is like the worst dance I could think of. It looks terrible. Plus, I'll also say this, and this is probably part of a whole another conversation. How reciprocal, I think that's the word I'm looking for. Things coming around again. Now you can't get a song big unless there's a dance with it on TikTok.
Yeah,
That's kind of what they were doing in the 60s. Everything was a dance.
yeah, the dance is pretty terrible. That's, oh boy.
Did you look it up?
Yeah,
Yep.
That's man. That's even worse than like a old white guy dance. Like this is terrible.
What it kind of makes me think of is someone said, "Hey, do you want to dance?" And he's like, sure." Well, you do it like this. No, don't tell me how to dance. I want to figure it out on my own.
Yeah, this is the kind of dance where, oh boy. It gets progressively more intense as the video goes on, too. It's just like, it starts off with some fluid moments, and then more and more people are getting on it, and then it's just like, it kind of just over-exaggerates the motions, and it gets out of control. I don't know what's going on in the 60s, but the Freddy is not something.
No. And then the next track is "Dance or Else."
There's just one rule applies, but it's one you better heed. Dance or else.
My only note was not very good. Kind of a throwaway track.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on this dance. Like, the point is, like, this would have been great to bring back in the COVID era, because in order to make the dance, you need to be at least 6 feet away from people, because you gotta have some space. How did this not come back?
Do the Freddy COVID dance. There we go,
The
man.
Freddy COVID dance. Alright, anyway.
You won't be safe in your dreams from me, but you'll be safe 6 feet away from COVID.
Yeah, Dance or Else is, yeah. It's like, I mean, it's not a highlight, but it's good, just standard background music.
Ugh.
I mean, you get Freddy talking. Just, yeah.
Oh, I hope you like Freddy talking, because he does it a lot. And then the next track is "In the Midnight Hour."
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour.
I'm gonna wait
Oh, so good. This is probably my favorite one.
Are you? Oh, Josh.
You didn't like it?
Well, it's because I've heard the original by Wilson Pickett, which is 10 times better.
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour when there's no one else around.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Wilson Pickett's version. We're talking about Freddy Krueger's greatest hits. If I'm limited to the tracks on this album, this is what I have to go off of.
Ugh. I guess. Yeah, they slow it down. They take out all the soul of it and replace it with 2 studio musicians singing it. I mean, it's kind of like hearing this song to me would be the equivalent of Phil Jackson going, "Here's an idea, guys. How about we don't start Jordan and Pippin?
Dude,
We take out all the elements that make it
Hold on.
work."
Hold on. How many times did you listen to this album?
At least 3 times.
I mean, that's about as me, like, because at first you're like, "God, this is funny, but these songs kind of suck." And then after re-listening, like, in your head, you're like, you start singing along. Like, it gets to you a little bit, and you find yourself grooving. Apparently you didn't get that. I mean, I think you might need to revisit these a little bit.
Ooh, no, that's the true horrifying nightmare right there, being forced to listen to it again.
Gets in your head.
You cut me open. God, just stop the record.
I would enjoy this.
There you go. But anyways, it's a cover of Wilson Pickett's "In the Midnight Hour." He does a much better version. Josh says the Freddy version, in which Freddy
I did not say it's better than Wilson Pickett's.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said Wilson Pickett's is much better. Josh says that this version is okay. So if you want a version that's slowed down and Freddy Krueger speaks over it, goes "ah," they made a version for you.
Ugh.
And then we go to "Don't Sleep."
There's no escape, so hear what I say. If you wanna stay alive, don't sleep.
Which I thought this one was pretty good. Had some really good guitar work on it. And kind of the crazy thing about this one, so this one's not a cover. I was kind of surprised that this one was not on the movie's soundtrack, as are none of these songs. Because I figured that'd be a good way, you know what I mean, to kind of push out the runtime of it. Because that's absolutely what this is that literally some studio musicians went into the studio and said, okay, how can we pump out a record in half a day?
Yeah, this sounds like a soundtrack. Like, I would have. I'm surprised that it's not on one of the movies, because this. I mean, it straight up sounds like a song that you would find in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I checked the movie, I checked the soundtrack, and I didn't see "Don't Sleep" in there. So,
well, it exists on this album. Thankfully, this album was born.
And then the next track is "All I Have to Do Is Dream."
When I want you.
And it's
This is a Everly Brothers cover.
Right, Everly Brothers.
Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you.
And it's in the same vein as In the Midnight Hour, where pretty much Freddy just kind of talks over it, but it's a straight up cover of the Everly Brothers song. Which kind of is weird. In the Midnight Hour and All I Have to Do Is Dream, they didn't even really change the lyrics, did they?
No, they didn't change them at all. Which, I mean, it works. I mean, All I Have to Do Is Dream. It's right up Freddy's alley right there.
There you go.
All
It's
you
kind
have to do
of
is
ahead
dream,
of the
dream.
kind of ahead of the game too, with slower versions of well-known songs. That's all trailers are now. We go from All I Have to Do Is Dream to Obsession.
Obsession.
Nowhere to run.
Which I was really let down by this one, Josh. Because
You're not obsessed with Obsession.
I was hoping it'd be a cover of the 80s song Obsession. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun, but it's not. Unfortunately,
It's still a solid track.
It is, but it's not Obsession.
No. It's got a decent power chorus to it. I don't know. I liked it.
You're loving the 80s blow flute of it all?
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to that and that synthesizer, and I was like, oh, that keyboard, man, that's a choice from the 80s.
Yeah, this is just dripping 80s. Like, there's no mistaking what era this came out in or what it was trying to do. But speaking of mistakes, let's talk about the next song.
Oh. And please tell me you're on my side with this one, that they absolutely butchered this one.
Oh, this is terrible. This is...
Oh. They do a cover of Wooly Bully, which, why? I mean, in the midnight hour, do the Freddy, All I Have to Do Is Dream. I get the connection. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I understand how Freddy Krueger fits into that. How does Freddy Krueger fit into the Wooly Bully?
He doesn't at all. And, like, they slow it down, and it doesn't work. It's bad.
Which, just a little trivia for you, the original was sung by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And the original was actually a Grammy-nominated song. So, think of the song Wooly Bully and know that the recording industry at one point felt that was Grammy-worthy.
Hey, I mean, a teaser for our next episode. The Flock of Seagulls have a Grammy, so...
That's true. Mistakes were made.
Hey, as the #1 Flock of Seagulls fan, there was no mistake about their Grammy.
And then we got next track, Down in the Boiler Room.
Down in the boiler room.
The only thing I put here is the lyrics do not match the music at all. And who thought a boiler room would sound so like 80s synth funk?
If I'm picturing Freddy, that's where I'm picturing like him hiding, is
Right.
down in the boiler room. So, great, fantastic original song.
And then we close it out with Elm Street Dreams. Which is literally just an instrumental track. Nothing too special about it. It has about 2 or 3 musical ideas that it cycles through for about 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
It's literally just atmosphere. Once again, kind of shocked it wasn't used in the movie because that's what it sounds like.
This sounds like early Elton John.
I guess. I don't
Clearly,
really hear
you're
that,
not a.
but
I mean, I think you need to listen to some early Elton John.
I guess I do. I guess I've never made the Nightmare on Elm Street Elton John connection before. But now that you're
Well,
saying it.
That's why I'm here. I implore you to explore Elton John's vast discography, and I don't know, that was the first thing that came to mind is Elton John-esque. Somebody out there will agree with me. Somebody out there is a fan of Freddy's greatest hits, The Flock of Seagulls, and Elton John.
Oof, wow. That's a tall order, Josh.
There's 7 billion people in the world, Kyle. I can't be the only one.
I think you can, but we'll see. Maybe not. But
So that's the album.
Kind of a closing note on this is anything that wasn't obviously a cover was written by either Kevin Kelly or Stephanie Davy, either written by one or the other or both. So they were the main studio musicians that kind of put this together. Stephanie Davy really hasn't done much that is super notable. Wasn't able to really find that much on her. Who knows? She might still be a working studio musician and done a ton of things, just not a ton on her. Kevin Kelly, on the other hand, he has worked with Blondie and Edgar Winter. So he's a little bit of a known engineer / studio musician. Saying with that, Josh, if you had to rate this, if we put this against other 80s synth funk pop horror icon inspired side albums compared to any others, where does this rank in your list?
I think it gets a Grammy because they're kind of the only one. I'm pretty sure that's how the Flock of Seagulls got theirs. But when you have such a subgenre as that, you're kind of the leaders of it, you know?
Nah, that's true. There was no Mike Myers shuffle, or they weren't asking us to do the Jason.
Certainly not. I mean, the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack is the best horror movie soundtrack. Well, the Scream had a pretty good one too, but this isn't a soundtrack. This is a just one-off side project promo, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, do the Freddy. I mean, it gets in your head, I'm telling you.
Like a nightmare, it certainly does.
It could be, but I mean, the highlights are definitely, in my opinion, do the Freddy in the midnight hour and don't sleep. But it's not something that like you're gonna put on and like just pay attention to. You know, like some albums you put headphones in and like you zone out and you really pay attention to it. Like this is definitely background, in just kind of enjoyable in the background. So I don't know. I'd give it like 3 stars, 3 out of 5.
You know, I'd be right there with you, just out of the pure novelty of it. And it still kind of blows me away that it's a thing. Because what's the point of it? You know what I mean?
Hey, who is the target audience for this? Who asked for this?
Apparently, Freddy Krueger is so popular that releasing an album and a soundtrack for the movie are not enough. We need a novelty album in which Robert Englund speak talks over some of the songs.
Well, and what's really surprising me is I thought this was a new thing. Like, when you sent it to me, I thought this was just like this is some sort of fan project, or they're hyping up some remake of it. But no, this was released in 87.
Yeah, no, this is the real deal.
I mean, it sounds like something that, kind of all the Stranger Things, like, hey, we're all nostalgic for the 80s, let's get together and just kind of make this novelty 80s thing. But no, yeah, like you said, this has been around. There's tapes of this that exist.
What shocks me with this is the fact that it's more people don't know about it because there's so many of those quirky nostalgia things that, you know what I mean, people tend to bring up all the time.
Yeah.
That they're just obsessed with and that they can't let go of. Like a good example would be what's it called, that Batman and Robin. I hear all the time when people say how terrible that is, how terrible the ice puns are and stuff like that, and the Bat credit card, and in nerd fandoms, all that stuff gets brought up all the time, and you'd think something like this would get brought up. I mean, Do the Bartman gets brought up all the time, but nobody wants to do the Freddy, Josh.
Well, it's our duty as podcasters to release this onto the world and make it more known. So, whatever YouTube or Spotify, whoever has this uploaded, you're welcome for the influx of the 13 new views that you haven't had.
Oh. This is our life's work. Everything we have ever done is culminated in letting the world know about Freddy's greatest hits. Anything else you got to say about Freddy?
Give it a listen. It'll go on your Halloween soundtrack. Again, you're gonna put on Monster Mash, the Ghostbusters theme song, and then after everyone's been gotten their fill of the two most popular ones, this will be great to fill the void.
Absolutely. So, Freddy's greatest hits, fine by us. Out with early parole. There we go.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll see you guys probably either end of month or beginning of next month. I don't remember when we released them. In 2 or 3 weeks with a Flock of Seagulls. We'll see you then. Until then, in this courtroom, it's been Kyle and Josh. We'll talk to you later.